Welcome to Work Style Stories because different. This week we're talking about the commute. We're talking about our impact on physical, mental well-being. We're talking about work styles that work with our partners and the people we live with, and how one bad day can change your life for the better. And to talk about that, I'm joined by Joanna. Hello.
Hello.
Before we get into all the detail, Joe, can you just tell us a little bit about who you are, where you are, and what you do?
Sure. I'm Joanna. I'm originally from Portugal, but I live in the UK, currently in Stoke-on-Trent. I've been in the
Lovely.
UK about 15, 16 years now, so a
Okay.
long time. And I do a little bit of different things: digital marketing, copywriting, SEO, and also guest lecturing or part-time lecturing on the side as well.
Fantastic. That's a varied portfolio of work. I'm assuming that that's something you've built over recent years versus something you've always done, and presumably prior to doing all of that, you had a fairly traditional job, did you? And maybe we can touch on that.
Yeah, I did. I had traditional-ish. I worked as the digital marketing manager for
Okay.
an agency. But the main company I worked for was in Manchester, and the
Okay.
parent company was in London. So I would spend my days either in Manchester or in London. So I would either drive to Manchester, which was about 1.5 hours each way
My
because
goodness.
of traffic.
Yeah.
Or I would take a train to London and spend a couple of days there. Staying overnight in hotels. So, and then long
Goodness
days,
me.
office environment, meetings, a lot of, yeah.
I mean, presumably it was absolutely critical for you to be in the office environment to do what you do, was it? Or
Probably
no?
not. No, I mean, sometimes yes, there is still that need to have that face-to-face interaction, and especially
Okay,
when
yeah,
you work in a team, everyone being together in the same room brainstorming ideas. It's certainly really
yeah.
helpful, but we weren't doing that every day. On a
Mm,
normal day, you were sat at your computer for the
mm,
majority of your day, and so yeah, it was a little bit frustrating to have days where I would travel all the way to London only to
yeah,
sit at my desk and anything I could
absolutely.
do from home.
Yeah. So eventually, so at some point, presumably a little bit before 3 years ago, something happened. Did you have one of those days that we've all had at some point where, enough's enough? Was there a
Yeah,
catalyst
I think
moment for you?
definitely I can pinpoint the exact day, but it was something that was built up. It wasn't, it didn't just happen overnight. It was this nagging feeling that had been
Yeah,
building up probably for about a year. But one of those things that you just kind of push to the back of your mind and you just
yeah,
get on with the task at
yeah,
hand and you
yeah.
keep going, until there was just this one day where I was in London, and I'd made the trip over there. I'd sat in a meeting for 3 hours where nothing was achieved really. So and there was a lot of office politics going on that day. So all of these different factors that just kind of add up.
Yeah, yeah.
And I remember going back to my sad little hotel room that night in London, and I just decided there and then, that's it, tomorrow first thing in the morning I'm handing in my notice. And I actually remember emailing my boss that night because I said, if I don't do it now, I might chicken out by tomorrow morning. So I emailed him at night, and I said, can we catch up first thing in the morning? And
Mm.
he knew, like, he actually knew. When I walked in the office, he was like, okay. I knew this day would come.
Yeah. I mean, such a relatable story. I mean, I feel like I've been on a similar journey myself. I think it's always the straw that breaks the camel's back, isn't it? That one occasion where, everything that's been bubbling away just comes to a head and you have to take a decision. And for your own happiness, I think sometimes we get sort of distracted by the pursuit of purpose or of being, reaching a utopia where everything's amazing. And that's really difficult because it's hard to define for ourselves what happiness really looks like. But it's very easy for us to define what we don't want. And by removing the things that we don't want, we can start to move towards creating the happier and more fulfilled existence that we want for ourselves. So good on you for taking the plunge in that moment and saying, I'm going to take control of this situation now and say, I don't want this to happen to me anymore. I want to be in control of my own work life. And so what did you do from there?
The first thing I did, well, after working my notice period, obviously, I just took some time off because I think having been in such a fast-paced environment for so long and never really having the chance to stop and think about what to do next. When you actually do stop, it's actually really tiring, and that because it all kind of catches up with you. So absolutely. I took about 3 months off and traveled a little bit, spent time with family, and just did a lot of nothing really, because I just didn't want to jump straight into the next thing and build those patterns up again of just being busy all the time. And then when I did start, then I had a bit more time to sort of plan and think about who I really wanted to work with, what did I want to do, and how did I want to live my life and things like that. But I think having that time off, if you can, it's so important. You need to give yourself that headspace.
So you became self-employed.
Yeah.
Your own boss. You got your own portfolio of clients, work doing the same thing broadly that you were doing before, applying that talent, but in a freelance capacity. But you've also added to that some lecturing, some part-time lecturing work, which is awesome. Yeah. What else have you been able to do now that you couldn't have done before?
Well, I think the biggest thing for me is definitely the lecturing, because it's something that I had thought I would like to do, but I'd never had the time to explore it. And then when I did have the time to explore it, I realized that I absolutely love it. Maybe not enough to, have a full-time career in it, but I love having both. And I think just exploring different things that I like to do in marketing, because, it's so varied. One day you can be sort of copywriting, and the next you could be coming up with an idea for a video, and then the next you can come up with something else, and and just exploring those kinds of things. And then outside of work, it's just having more time to do what I feel like doing that day, and seeing family. And
so how does your work style fit with your family then?
Well, all of my family, apart from my partner, live in Portugal, so it's been a lot easier to spend time with them. Which is amazing, because it's so easy when you have family abroad and everyone's so busy to put work as an excuse to not spend time together, and I think that's just not right. No, so I do as much as I can, go there as much as possible, and then just spend more time traveling, spend more time with my partner as well, more quality time, because I think we have very different, we had completely opposing schedules. He works night shifts, so now we can actually coordinate our time schedules a bit better and see each other a bit more, and and not have things.
That's such an important point for people when they're considering their work style, is to be able to have complementary work styles with the people you live with, and that enables you to spend time together whilst also pursuing your respective careers. I think that's really, really important. Joe, I feel like I could sit and talk to you for ages about this, but we've run out of time, unfortunately. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us. It's brilliant that you're able to do more of the stuff that you really enjoy, the work that you love. You've been able to leave that horrible commute behind, whether it's up to Manchester or down to London, and those nights in those not so pleasant hotels hopefully are a thing of the past. Thank you for sharing your story again, and we've been Work Style Stories. We'll see you all next time. Bye for now.
Bye.